It's Podquester time now, it is Podquester time.
Well, hello there, Dash Katz.
Hello, my king. How are you?
Wonderful.
Thank you for having.
Thanks for being on. Nice to see you. What an evening.
Oh my God, I'm genuinely in a fragile mental state right now. I'm just warning you.
I think the world is. I think all the viewers, the chat was. I was afraid for their well-being. People are very upset. Very upset.
I am very worried for America and the world. Mentally at this point.
Have we checked in on anyone? Like maybe we should be doing this right now. We should really just be checking in on the Sequester community to make sure that they're in one piece.
Genuinely, because this, I can't take it. This boot list, I'm sorry. It's horrid. It's horrid.
Yeah. The Spencer Brief fans, though. The Spencer Brief fans rejoicing. The Spencer Brief fans are out of their mind right now. They are so hyped.
They are popping bottles. They are smoking blends.
They are.
But are we allowed to say who went home?
Yes, no, you really shouldn't be watching this if you haven't watched the episode.
Good point.
Queen Moona.
Oh,
you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Oh my God, the legend. I am just going to be gushing over the legend Moona.
Yes.
All episodes.
Well, you've had many interactions with Moona. I guess I.
Oh my God, Moona.
We both interacted with Moona.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. Moona is a star. Moona is a star, and Moona is just such a talented person, and oh my God, she's completely out of this world. The power that she has, the clearance that she has, the international implications that she has. Put some respect on Queen Moona's name.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to go this way. And to be fair, I said early on, I didn't think. I was always worried for Moona because I felt like she's such a huge name, and she came in with such a huge target that. I thought initially she was going to have trouble regardless. I didn't think it would happen like that, though. It seemed so quick. It was just it's over. The Moona journey is just
I
done.
know. It's not over.
It's not over. It's not over. There's a jury house. So clearly somebody's coming back.
Yes, right? I mean, they haven't confirmed it, but...
It's gotta be. Why are you showing...
There's gotta be a comeback.
They wouldn't be showing him otherwise, right? You're not showing the house. And everybody is I guess Moona didn't say it, but... Jay West and Katie were both I'm going to get back in the game. So I feel like they wouldn't be saying that if somebody wasn't getting back in the game.
It probably wouldn't make the edit, right?
Right. It wouldn't make the edit. So it's not necessarily over. And I feel I said, I didn't say it last week because I wasn't on last week. But after last week, I was Katie's definitely coming back. But now I watch this. I'm Moona's definitely coming back. They can't both come back. So we're losing.
Oh my God.
We're losing somebody.
I'm so not okay with this.
No.
Katie and Moona both just oh my God, they're such good TV. This is a huge loss for the show. And Jay West is amazing TV too.
Well, I mean, it's what when we looked at the cast, we were there's some people who are at the bottom, obviously, and those bottom people are doing what they need to do and rising up and taking shots at the top. If I'm,
my God, the people who get voted out,
I'm worried. I'm shaking in my boots.
Very that. And the people that get voted out are not going home. They're winning the battles.
Yeah,
and that's the theme. Oh my God. Honestly, Moona was my winner pick. I believe in Moona so much. So she's still my winner pick. She's winning the comeback. Or Katie, Katie's my bestie. I got to root for Katie too. But oh my God, I'm just such a fan of Moona. I'm constantly in awe of her.
Yeah. There's something.
So I'm pretty heartbroken.
Yeah.
Back to back, heartbroken.
Is there something to be said for what would you say is it coincidence that the three people who were voted out then won the battle, or is there, if you get voted for, is there then an extra chip on your shoulder? Do you have that extra bit of determination and also are then in control calling the shots and calling out who you want? right? Like, does that put you in a power position? And do you prefer to be the person getting the votes and making the call as opposed to standing back and having someone choose you?
What would you rather?
I mean, I typically would not want to get the votes, but now that I'm watching the way this is going, I'm like, maybe it is smarter to be in that power position and get somebody on their heels, be in the power position, take control and call someone out. You can say what you want. Well, I guess in this case, Spencer couldn't say what he wanted. He said a sentence and then Moona was like, let me tell you what we are not going to do. Here is what we are not going to do.
Oh, that was an iconic moment.
It is.
She ate that up.
Oh, it was great. I guess we should start from the beginning before we get too far ahead of ourselves, because there was a whole lot that happened prior to that. I guess we can start at the very, very beginning, our second trip to Luxury Row. So I guess things aren't getting replaced, right? Like, Josh got an LOS. There's not another LOS then in play. It's just like, now there's 2 blank spots. I think so. So you think Spencer's drawing blanks next week? Well, I think that there's 1 still remaining, because they said that there were 2 prizes and 1 blank. And Josh got the LOS. So now I think that there's 1 remaining prize. So Spencer's like, you got a 33% chance of getting it. I think that's how it's working.
Okay, we'll see. Like, I could be wrong. Okay, because he could be, if they're not replacing him, then he's guaranteed the prize, right?
Well, I don't think they tell him. Like, I think he's still got to pick between the 3, but it's just underneath 1 of them.
Okay, yeah, that'll be interesting to see for sure.
Because otherwise, I mean, you could just end up with like 5 LOSs, and that's not going to work with such a small cast, you know?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So what did you think of Natalie drawing the blank?
She went middle. I would have went middle. Where do you go out of the 3? An obscure question, but you going left, right, middle?
I feel like I would probably pick left because I'm going for number 1, baby.
Okay. I think that's the only one that hasn't been picked, because I think Josh went right and she went
middle.
Did
he?
Yeah.
I'm sorry not to be shady. Well, maybe to be a little bit shady. But Natalie, that's that Katie karma. That's what you get for pulling my sis into the battle match. And I don't think I gotta say, Katie's been so humble with her elimination. I'm so proud of her. She says it's a good move. I don't think it was a good move. And I say that because Katie was the name on everybody's lips. They were obsessed. I mean, I don't blame you. She's iconic. But for me, if I'm Natalie and I'm not that well connected, don't take the shot at somebody who's already being shot at. You should take the shot at somebody who's more gonna slide by without getting targeted. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm a little biased.
I would have agreed with that as of last week, but seeing what happened this week now, I feel like with Katie and Moona both out, it probably was a benefit to, I mean, you know, they're shaking up the house. That's what Spencer said tonight. He wanted to shake up the house, and the house has been shook up. Like, what you initially thought going in is no longer what is happening, right? Like,
yeah, no, I mean,
Natalie is not the big character, and I don't think in any way she's going to fill that mold. But if you can continually take out the bigger character, she can become a bigger character, have her voice more heard. If, you know, the voices that are a bit quieter are all in the house, I think that behooves her to have quieter voices in the house, and maybe she can make more inroads there. I don't know. She went back to kind of invisible tonight after that, like, early moments of the game. She kind of disappeared again, but I think that's her gameplay.
Yeah, I would say that I feel like we saw the most of her personality this episode, just because we saw her like more of a range of emotions this week. But I agree, she's definitely going back into the radar. But we did see her have that moment with Jacob, and she also had a moment with Brent, I believe. Brent was going, we need me for the rating.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that.
Yes.
I feel like you'll have opinions on that.
Oh my god,
on the
so funny.
I always love that pitch. I always love the rating. Keep me for the ratings, or keep me for the audience. It's very similar to the chat when you're in a mini, right? And you're in the final 4, and you're about to get dragged. That's not what the chat wants. Don't do this to the chat. You are going to hurt the audience if you drag me here. Never.
We know Mr. Spencer Brief was clearly not worried about the world.
No, he does not care about the ratings.
Oh, come on. We need Moona for the ratings. She is.
We do. But now she gets a cool mask.
Yeah,
right?
but no. That
I
mask
would
needs to stay off.
request to be voted out just to wear a cool mask. I'd be like, guys, I had fun, but I really, really want one of those masks.
You better be careful. They're going to use this against you if you're ever on a future
That's
season.
fine. That's fine. Do you think I could take it home with me though?
Yeah,
or do I have to like leave it with Audrey at the end? Because I don't want that. I want to take it home, put it on my wall, then sell it on eBay for a large amount of money. It'd be great.
I love that so much. And I gotta say, they were looking real fine in those masks. Jay West and Katie were serving.
Well, that goes right on target to where we're going next. Is we got a quick, it wasn't much jury house, but a little jury house, very friendly jury house. They seem to be real chummy. No hard feelings there.
Especially compared to season 3. I just remember the jury house was more entertaining than the live house.
Popping as the kids. No, nothing popping. They were playing. They wanted to play games.
Oh yeah, so we'll see. Because the jury right now, oh my God, is iconic. So
great.
I'm here for the jury segment.
Yeah, flip it. We need and now Moona's gonna go in there. I feel like all 3 of those people get along. So no fireworks yet in the jury house, but it'll be interesting to see. So let's get into a little bit of the game for tonight. The challenge, the twist, majority rules, a classic. How do you tell me some of your great majority rules stories, Dash? How many times have you played majority rules?
I have played it. I played it in the showdown.
Okay.
It was 6-19, which was Katie's and Spencer's mini, against 5-8, which was the mini that Little Miss Me won when I was blacked out and fought a puzzle.
I do. Classic. Lives in infamy to this day.
Yes, rent free. Yeah. So basically, in that, we played, the question was, what is Sequester Bot's favorite movie? And I was pushing Legally Blonde like my life depended on it. And I was lucky because there were so many movies out there, but Legally Blonde won. So I played that well. And I also got to say my power. And I played that twist with the queen of majority rules, which is Jules Keem.
Yes.
Because she's invented it.
Where's the name drop? Somebody give her a name drop tonight. Come on.
Yes, I know, right? Put some respect on the queen's name. Yeah. She dogged poor Cassie out so hard for some football. Yeah, so that's how you got to be savage in that twist.
You gotta. When did I play it?
Have you played it?
I played it a couple times. I played it in All Stars, but that was it? Yeah, All Stars. So that was the thing in All Stars was that everybody answered the same because it was the first time they did it and nobody had any idea what was going on. So everybody answered the same thing, and it went to a wheel. And Josh, Billy's brother, went home.
Oh my God.
What I found interesting tonight was they said they would go to a wheel. So let's say it was a tie, right? They said this, a wheel of elimination. They were going to spin the wheel and somebody was just going to go home. Would that have been the episode? Would they have just like, okay, well, everybody answered the same, spin, spin, spin. Sorry.
I thought the same thing. I was because that would have been really anticlimactic, but at this point, I wish it went to a freaking wheel. Because these hoes want to take out Moona.
Yeah. Like, I kind of. What would the wheel have been? I wonder. Like, would Sequester Bot come out with a little spitty wheel? Like, who spins?
Oh my God,
Sequester Bot spin a wheel?
We've never gone to a wheel in Final Four. I'm thinking about it, and like. Brent always says optimal strategy in Final Four, you want to go to the wheel. Yeah. We stayed off that wheel when we got to Final Four together.
Oh, yeah. We did matter.
But we did it well. Like you got to go to the wheel, but make sure you're not on the wheel.
Yeah. But I find it interesting that, they would like in this version that a wheel still exists.
I know. That would have been insane.
It would have been insane. It would have been like to have someone taken out of the game by that would have been crushing, but entertaining.
And then you just battle whoever you want. Like
I guess so. Is there even a battle, or are you just gone? You're just done. Like the
there
wheel
has to
is
be
just
a battle.
The end. They said elimination. I guess you could just maybe still battle. Would have been interesting,
right? Like that. Yeah. What would the episode be? Just like okay, wheeled out. Bye.
A 20-minute episode. See you next week.
Oh no! Well, thank God it didn't go to wheel for like the show's sake.
For the ratings. For the
ratings.
So as it started, everybody scattered. Shireen specifically just started sprinting to a room. Everybody was running around. It started out with 7 people, which was a very odd group. Like, it was a very strange amount of people that had no connection to each other whatsoever, who just ended up in a room together and were like, all right, we have to pick a name. We'll stick to the name. Josh volunteered, which is smart. Get your name out there. I think that's a smart move. And they're like, we're sticking to this. When everybody knew, at least half of those people knew, right from that moment, that they were never sticking to that name. But they put that name out there, and that essentially became the fake name while everybody ran to their allies to get the name out. Because Billy said herself, like, she was like, none of my allies are in here, so there's zero chance that I'm going to stick with Josh, even though she let Josh in on that.
Yes.
And then it just kind of unfolded from there, where people scattered from room to room for a decent amount of time.
It was so chaotic.
So chaotic. But I think what's interesting about this is that this was essentially, like, it was longer watching it than it was actually taking place, right? Because this was a 10-minute game, a 10-minute challenge.
Was it really?
I believe so. I believe this was 10 minutes total. And we probably watched it for what, 15, 20, maybe?
Definitely longer than 10.
Yeah, definitely longer than 10. So there was a ton of chaos going on in a very short amount of time, which was why everybody was so panicked. Like, people were legit panicked.
Yeah, it was very hectic. It was a roller coaster. But I think you always kind of, like, what happened at the end is kind of the best thing to do. It's like, you want to solidify a group at the end rather than the beginning. Because if it happens at the beginning, either everyone's going to get on the same page or it's going to break somehow. Yeah. In a house full of snakes.
Yeah. So. And I think we saw that, like, it's a different way of playing, because it's not something that anybody's done before, but it's kind of like using the clock to your advantage. It's kind of like playing basketball. It's like, or football. Like, you wind down the clock. Like, we saw Josh do that with Spencer, is like, keep them in a room and talk and keep them there, because the clock is winding down. And Brent also, like, making the last second pitch, knowing he has a minute left, getting into a room with a bunch of people and being like, this is how we have to, right? Like, if you know, and you can look at the clock on the wall and know how much time you have, you can kind of use that to your advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I just had an idea. It's like, what if Spencer had, like, followed Moona around the whole round? It's like, how does that change? Like, because then he knows Moona doesn't trust him. He's kind of on the outs at this point. Why not follow her around? So then whichever answer Moona has, you have.
Right.
Just an idea. I don't know. It kind of just came to me as you were talking.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways to play it. Like, we saw at one point when the new big group that switched to Rachel were all in a room together, and they essentially just said, well, let's just stay here. Right. And we've seen that done on minis too, is like, when people have maybe not so much majority rules, but when they have a decision, like, stay right here. There's no room limits. There's no room limits in this game, right? Like, everybody could come in. I was like, why don't you just lock the door? Like, I would legit hold the door. Hold the door. I
remember in your All-Stars game with Susie, where Susie won, she did an amazing job of filibustering. I remember, and I think Josh also, that was brilliant. Like, yeah, it might have caused some damage, but I thought it was a really good move by him.
Oh yeah.
So
we saw a lot of different ways to play it. Like, we saw the way Shireen played. I want to touch on Shireen again, because I feel like of everyone currently in the game, I feel like she is playing the best game. Like, I am impressed more and more every
She's very impressive
with how well she's playing, especially coming in as someone who doesn't have a lot of connections and making those connections. She seems to be connected and have good relationships with basically everybody in the game. And we saw why, like, when the round started, she wasn't immediately focused on finding out a name. She was immediately focused on getting Natalie in a room and getting themselves on the same page for the long-term goal, which wasn't just winning this challenge. It was making sure her group was solidified. And I think she did that. And we've seen that time and time again, is that she has these bonds with people who you wouldn't necessarily expect her to have bonds with, like the Natalies, like the Joshes, like the Rachels. I just think she's playing a very good game. Like, if you're asking me, person who's in the best position right now, I go to Shireen, I go to Billy. I feel like those two are in the best spots.
I love Shireen. I also love her confessionals, because she's very authentic. What you see is what you get, she's not pretending to be this perfect person. She's authentic, and I really appreciate that as a viewer. And you bring up Billy. I am such a fan of Billy. Oh my God. I'm fangirl because Billy oozes charisma. And Billy is playing an incredible game. I think Shireen's playing one of the top games, but for me, Billy's playing the best game.
Yeah.
Number one. Like, I think Billy, oh my God. To me, it feels like everyone trusts Billy.
Yeah. And I think it goes like similar strands there, as I feel like the both of them just seem very genuine. Like everybody seems to believe everything they say, like they actually do believe where they're coming from is real and genuine. Whereas you look at someone like Jacob Jones, for example, who has that, is known for being genuine, but people have seen the game that he's played in the past and how genuine it was. And I feel like maybe it's not coming across as much this time around. Whereas people know that he is such a huge threat off the bat that they're not taking things as genuinely and are always on edge when he's talking to them. They always think he has ulterior motives, which, to be honest, he probably does. But that's what makes him a good player. But I feel like we're seeing it more and more as people are not taking his word necessarily for what he's saying because he has deals with every single person.
See, I got a lot of thoughts on Jacob this episode, for sure. He is a villain, first of all. Let's be clear on that. The way he dogged out Moona is, I'm not feeling it. I love him, but, like, this is just not the moment. Like, Moona did vote with him. And the way he's going around to everybody, just painting this target on her, I don't know if it's a good move for him, first of all, because Moona's one of the few people that could actually probably be his shield. And
yeah, there's no shields left for him at this point. He is priority number one, I would imagine, in most people's eyes. If you're looking for big threats, he's the one now. He is left.
He is the one. And look at if I'm Marcelo and you're supposed to be my ride or die and you left me out of this, Jacob, the one who I am in like a tight-knit friend group with, I'm seeing that you're playing for number one and number one only. So if I'm Marcelo, because honestly, if I'm in the house, I knew about that Jacob and Marcelo because I'm thinking Spencer's on the block, Brent and Marcelo. For someone outside of that, I feel like they missed their shot at Marcelo here because Marcelo is a number for Jacob. But the fact that Jacob just kind of left him out like that, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic evolves from here,
Yeah. I mean, Jacob, he said at the beginning that Marcelo was his ride or die. Like, I don't think he has, especially now with Moona gone. And even if Moona was there, I feel like that relationship had fractured, which we saw coming. Like, we saw hints of that essentially from the first 10 minutes was that was not going to end well for the two of them. Maybe in Moona's eyes, it could have. I don't think we ever saw anything on Moona's side that said it couldn't work, but Jacob was clearly never down to work with Moona long term. Like, he had been planting the seeds as early as possible that she needed to go.
That breaks my heart. It really does. It really does.
I don't know necessarily if it's the smartest move. I feel like his game is better off if Moona is there. But I mean, I guess
I'm very much with you. And I also feel like maybe a little birdie told me, but Brent laid some groundwork against Moona too. Like, Brent was the one hammering it into Spencer's ear that Moona was after him.
Right.
I don't know if that's the best move for Brent either, to be honest, because Brent is another one of those big targets.
Exactly.
But Brent is giving me good TV. I gotta give it to him.
We need to start discussing that. So I definitely. So I mean, that was Moona even said that the reason she was targeting who she was targeting, which were Brent and Spencer, was because Brent was planting seeds against her, and Spencer obviously had issues with her for a while now. So it ended up being Spencer, Brent, Marcelo with the wrong answers. I guess we can start with Marcelo here. How do you feel he played that? Because at first I was like, he seemed very bewildered and lost. And then in confessionals, he explained that it was an act. I wasn't sure if that was kind of in retrospect being like, oh, it was an act. I was playing that up. Or he really was just like a lost puppy. Because it seemed genuine to me. Like he legit seemed shocked and lost and scared. And it's very easy to say in confessionals afterwards that, oh yeah, I was playing that up. I was fine. Everything was good. But I thought he was completely bewildered at the moment.
100% agree with you. I feel like Marcelo is here to play a role of the villain. Like he actively, like, whereas Jacob is just trying to play his best game and being a freaking snake in the process. Like Marcelo, like excuse me, Marcelo genuinely like sought out to come in and be the villain. That's the energy it's giving me.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate it because you're trying to bring something to the show, and you are. But boy, you lying. You were shook. Like,
well, so that's kind of my question. Is Marcelo, like, it was very clear from moment one, Marcelo came in to be the villain. Do you think that he's realizing that he's not, and he can't actually act it because he's not the villain? Because I feel like we're seeing legitimate villains. I don't think Marcelo, aside from his confessionals being like, I'm a snake, I'm a snake, I'm a snake, and trying to ram that point home, has shown that he's a villain. He's not a villain.
No, he's
like on the middle tier.
That was open and like really gave Katie a chance, at least from the edit, which I appreciated. And I mean, we'll see, Marcelo, if you're the true villain of the season, because I don't know if you are, sis. I know you're auditioning, but I'm not sure if you're gonna get that call back.
He wants it, but it's not coming through yet.
No, and he was shook. Like Jacob, I feel like he genuinely felt stabbed by Jacob. Like, I'm surprised that didn't really get addressed, but he's busy playing up this role of like, I don't care. You say that now in confessionals, love, because you're trying to paint this arc, but I don't buy it for a second. Your ass was shook.
It was. But I mean, to his credit, he was never really an option whatsoever, aside from Billy's vote. Like, he was never an option to go home. You would think, because I was like, well, people are going to throw votes on him, right? Because he's not getting any votes, so you throw a few, but nobody did. Aside from Billy, who told him, nobody threw votes on him. It seemed pretty clear cut that it was going to be Spencer or it was going to be Brent.
Billy's missed? Billy's missed. I'm sorry. If somebody told me they were throwing a vote on me, I would say, you better not. Like, I would do everything it took to make sure they did not throw a vote on me. The fact that he said okay, like, that is, first of all, that's not a villain move. That's a hero move. Because you just like, wow, Billy's power. And like, oh my God, that just shook me so hard that he was okay with it. Like,
I do worry though. No. But here's no, definitely not. Well, here's what I worry. Like, Marcelo was very cool about it and was like, it's okay. First chance Marcelo gets, his number one target now will be Billy, right? Regardless of whether he says it's
I don't
cool,
think so.
I think that gives him a reason when he doesn't have really a reason for anyone else to be like, you voted for me, you're up, right? So I worry for Billy just in that situation because she's good with most people, but I feel like now she will be on the top of Marcella's list because she's given him a reason when she didn't necessarily need to do that, right? But,
yeah, I feel like
I don't think either one was going to take her to the battle match either. I really don't. I don't think Spencer. I don't think maybe Brent, but I really don't think either one of them were going to take Billy, regardless of who she voted for.
Yeah, I'm just a little surprised. Like, I don't know. I guess it makes sense why Brent was getting targeted. Like, I'm just thinking, like, if I was in the house, like, I would be like, we need to break up Marcelo and Jacob. We need to send Marcelo out. That would be my thought. Like, these people must not know they're close. Like, I think Billy knows, right? Like, because Billy's Josh's sister, and Josh is really good friends with them too, but I don't know if she knows that. So it's interesting because, like, Louie, you would know.
I would know.
Yeah, but right?
I'm a walking Sequester encyclopedia, though. You know, I do. Yes. I wondered that for a while. Is like, if you're in the game, like, do you realize those bonds? We talked about it a little on the first, and like, for as much as I know, there was stuff I didn't realize. Like, I didn't realize that 4 of those people had played All Stars together, and I was in that game, but I had no idea about that. Right? Like, I don't know if I necessarily recalled that Katie and Spencer were in the same game. Like, I don't know if I knew that off the top of my head. So, you know, it's hard on the spot to actually remember all that thing when there's so many crossed connections that, you know, appear in these games.
Good point. But I mean, I look at that as one of the strongest duo, probably the strongest duo in the game.
Yeah.
Like, I would have thought going into this week, Spencer and Brent were a duo, but like they were going in on each other.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, they had to, and that's kind
yeah.
of. What did you think of the counter arguments? Like Spencer essentially said, "You can't take me in because I will dominate you because I am a." He believes a lot in his physical prowess. Let's just put that out there. He believes that he is the most physically fit, unbeatable man in history. That nobody had a prayer against him, essentially.
It's just not. It's not the look. It's not the look. You know, like be humble. Humble is very attractive.
What did he think it was going to be, though? Like, to Brent's point, what, like, did you think it was going to be like a gauntlet? Did you think it was going to be, you know, like
are we getting our hands on each other?
Yeah, like, are you running a marathon? Like, what is this? This is Sequester. There's only so much room. Like, you're not running an obstacle course.
It's true. I mean, I think back to like Mary Payton's battle match, which was, oh my God, so horrid that she got put in the first one. But like that man pushed her. Like, I don't think they would do that now, to be honest. Like, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's putting, okay. On one hand, like I appreciate people like having meltdowns because it's good TV. But on the other hand, like, is it good gameplay? No, like you have to win a jury vote in the end. You know, you have to make these people want to work with you, and like you're coming off like a dickwad. So get it together, Spencer.
Yeah, and I you know, and then going to Brent's point, where Brent had 2 points. His first point, the legitimate point, was that if you're so scared of Spencer, he has to go in eventually. Somebody's got to beat him. Do it
Great
now
argument.
when there's more options, right?
Great
makes total sense. Totally agree.
Yes.
And then on his other argument, my personal favorite argument, is that the ratings would tank. The viewers on YouTube would immediately click off. The podcasts would cease to exist. No one would watch this show without Brent.
I can't. Oh my God, he's so funny.
Yeah, it's good. You know, it was very much, I deserve this. We see it a lot in Brother. I deserve to be here. I've done a lot to be here. You should keep me for that reason. Would that sway you, Dash Katz? Would Brent sway you by his, you know, the man? Brent?
I mean, okay, let me just like say, like, Brent is part of the reason that Sequester, like, he has contributed to where Sequester is now, because he's the one who basically had it tied in with RHAP, which has obviously shown Sequester to so many new eyeballs. And we're so thankful for that, like, period. But is it a good argument to keep you in the game? Absolutely not, love. Like, you need to be making strategic points at this point, you know? Like, this is, I mean, it was hilarious. Yeah. Though. Like, people were writing in the chat, they were like, king of ratings, yes. Like, I
thought about this. I like to equate this to the private minis, where you never vote out the organizer, like, first, because like you owe the organizer to go a little bit, because like they've done a lot, you know, they've gotten the money together, they did all the work, came up with the twists. You don't vote them out first, but then you vote them out like fifth, right? Like, because you don't want that person, because you're making a counter argument against yourself. Also, you're saying I shouldn't be voted out early, fine, but also you're saying you should never get to a final too, because essentially what you're saying is, you know, you're a huge character and you've done a lot to earn it, and you've done a lot for Sequester and blah blah blah. So I don't know if that necessarily helps him long term. I don't know if it even helped him short term, because I don't think that was the reason that anybody kept him.
No.
To see.
It was hilarious. Yeah. I love to see it. Like, honestly, it's a moment. You know, we live for these moments in these reality shows. He said, "Do not vote me out for the ratings." Like that, it's pretty iconic. Like, we're not going to forget that happened. No. So thank you for the moment, Brent. I just don't understand. A little bit back to Marcelo, is why Spencer and Brent, they're clearly aligned. They should have came together and been like, bitch, we need to flip this on Marcelo. And then like campaign. Like, I'm a little confused why we didn't see any of that.
No. And I mean, it must goes to show that Marcelo does have some pretty solid bonds in there. I mean, we know he's close to Natalie because he didn't vote her out, right? We saw that, obviously he's close to Jacob. He's close to Shireen. We saw that he took back his initial comments on her in the first episode and apologized for them. Villains don't apologize. Villains never apologize, Marcelo. If you ever
Marcelo,
again, come on.
Step it up.
This is not the villain edit you were hoping for. But it's clear he has people on his side. So I don't think Brent and Spencer ever thought they had a chance of flipping the vote on him because they knew it was always going to be one or the other because he just had too many inroads.
But that's a red flag. Like you gotta take the shot while you can, But oh my God, them campaigning against each other in public was awesome. Like I lived for that.
Yeah.
And Brent is literally yelling to everybody. Yeah. He's like, you're gonna have to battle him eventually. Like it's so tea. It's so tea. You may as well do it when you have less of a chance of getting pulled in.
Yeah, I feel like that's the move too. Just yell at everybody. It's like calling a house meeting. I mean, let everybody at the same time know what's going on. And I feel like Brent did that well. And then his last really good move was where he, at the last second, got people in a room and told them that Spencer was going to battle Rachel if they voted for him, to put everybody at ease that they could vote for Spencer and not him. And I feel like that may have switched a couple of people's minds in terms of making them think that his mind was set when it definitely was not. Because to me, if you're Moona, you can't ever vote Spencer, right? Like
I agree. And she did.
I guess it didn't matter because he didn't even ask her, but.
I know. I wrote in my notes, I said, for most of these people's games, it's better for Spencer to leave. But for Moona, she needs to not vote him. She needs to throw her vote. If I'm Moona, I'm voting Marcelo.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think, regardless of how she voted, I don't think Spencer's mind was ever going to go anywhere else other than Moona. I think it was always Moona. Like the people that he asked, like he even said with Josh, he asked Josh because Josh was a wild card, so he wanted to get engaged. But I don't think if Josh said, I voted for you, he was going to take him in. He was always taking in Moona because he wanted to flip the house. And I do agree that that's the best move for him because he needs to take it 100%. He needs to take out the biggest player he possibly can that he knows won't work with him. And at that point, the bridge was burned. Moona was never going to work with Spencer. It was in Spencer's best interest to remove Moona, who was the biggest threat to him and to basically everyone in the game.
Oh my God. I'm like getting emotional. I'm just really proud of Moona. And I just want to say, like, you did that. Like, you were a star no matter what. Like, the fact that you were visible on a social strategy game as a Muslim woman wearing a hijab, like, that is going to inspire so many people. And you are incredible. You are brave. You are strong. You are, like, a legend. And it doesn't matter if you won or went home third. No one can ever take that away from you. And we love you.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing, regardless of whether it's this season or not, that would be the last time we would see Moona on our television. I watch it on the TV. I know a lot of people like to get in their Zooms and watch. I like to sit on the couch. This is primetime TV at this point. I'm not going to watch it on a computer. Come on.
Oh yes, this is absolutely. It's a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. And it's just so funny because I basically made some of my best friends Sequester stands and they're all so mad. They're like, our favorite two went out back to back. This is disgusting. Like they're so mad. But they love Billy. Like so it's like Billy's just so she's so rootable, like so yeah. Oh my God.
So let's talk a little bit about the challenge. Like, so Spencer gets the votes, he goes up there, he's pacing back and forth, very angry, making a show of it. He was not here for someone's coronation, which I thought was a very interesting thing to say. As soon as he said that, I was like, well, we know where he's going. And he challenges Moona. And Moona shuts it down immediately. Now, I feel like we expected that to happen. What I didn't expect to happen was Jacob Jones to enter the picture and for him to get in on this. Now, what were your thoughts there as to why that happened? Because to me, it wasn't necessarily Jacob going at Moona. It was Jacob trying to interject so Spencer didn't change his mind and take Jacob instead, like we saw in the first episode where Josh changed his mind on Katie and took Jay West. I think the only reason Jacob got involved was because he was scared that Moona would convince him.
I don't know. Like watching it, like I was low key living that she threw him under the bus after he had done her so dirty the whole episode. Like, because it'd be one thing if he was actually loyal, but he wasn't, you know? So you can go. Like, so I didn't like how he bucked up to her, if I'm being honest. Like, that is, she's the queen. Like, but like, calm down, love. Like, as I said, I love him, but like, that just wasn't it for me. And I didn't like how Spencer didn't let Moona talk when he chose Moona. Let her speak. You know, that's not it. And don't. And when she said, like, this is my time, like, and then he's like, no, I'm gonna talk. Your ass got voted out. You just pick someone for the battle. They're allowed to give her moment to speak. So I don't know. It just wasn't it for me. Two grown ass men yelling at a woman. They lucky I wasn't there. Let me just say that. They're very lucky I wasn't there.
Fourth person yelling would have been a lot of yelling.
I would have had her back. And like, oof. I don't like that. I don't like that. You know, like I don't like men yelling at women. That's not it. So yeah. Oh my God. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Like I feel I'm really pissed. Louie, help me.
Yeah. I mean, it was a tough watch, especially since I feel like once again, I feel like the seeds were planted early on that we knew it wasn't going to end well with Jacob and Moona. Like there was zero chance that they were going to happily go to the final two together. We knew from the start that this was going to go downhill. Did we expect it to end with them screaming at each other? Probably not. But it was short-lived. And like I said, I feel like it's very similar to when you're trying to change someone's mind in a drag round, right? Like when you have that chance at Final Four, like Jacob was trying to make sure that Spencer still dragged in Moona and didn't drag in him. So he made a big show of it. And I don't think he needed to because Spencer wasn't going to change his mind anyway. His mind was set from the beginning.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, I would say the right way to go about it would be to address Spencer directly and be like, yeah, I had to vote you, but I'm still open to working with you, whereas Moona isn't, you know? And that would have been like a valid, like, good point, you know? Like, I just wish that he didn't choose Moona. I really wish that he didn't. Like, don't you want your season to be bomb? Like, don't you, like, I don't know. Clearly he doesn't care about that.
I think this will, like, you know, for Moona had people who were very clearly on her side. And I think now the lines that are drawn or were drawn with Jacob on that side now will no longer include Jacob. Because I don't know necessarily if those people who were aligned with Moona will now trust Jacob as much. I don't think that they will. So Jacob may need to shuffle things up. But when we're looking at it, like we're already dwindling in numbers. Like somebody's going to be coming back, but there's already not a huge amount left. Like, you know.
We don't stand this boot list. I'm not here for it. I'm going to need a fat blunt and a Xanax.
No, it's not going the right way right now. But, you know, it could all shift up within 2 weeks. We could be talking about a completely different boot list. So we'll see. Who knows what they have up there?
The comeback. So,
yeah. So
prayers for the comeback. Double comeback.
What did we think of, after all the talk of Spencer Brief and his physical prowess, the competition is flipping over pictures. That is a lot of wrist work involved. The flipping over of the pictures. That's wrist day. What did we think of the challenge? Interesting. Not what I expected at all.
I was screaming at I gotta say that Spencer confessional where he said Jess is wearing the crown as she should, or like he said something along those lines, and then he dragged Hunter. I was like,
I know. Ooh, yeah.
I was.
Do you think he was waiting to do that? Was he waiting to do that all season? Was that something he had in the back of his mind?
Why
is he trying to set up like rivals, like Sequester rivals? Is that the idea? Spencer Brief and Hunter? The rivalry that the whole Sequester world is clamoring for. I'd love to see that. Hunter versus Spencer.
Do you think Jess was robbed?
Yes. Well, I mean, she was my choice of the two. Anyway.
Yeah, as a viewer, oh my God, she was so rootable, and I love Jess, but Hunter, you did that, so
you did. That's true.
But yeah, I'm watching it. I definitely thought Jess was robbed too.
Yeah.
But oh my god, yeah. Like Jayla was on the cards. That's my girl. Like, it's just like I loved how they used like the past contestants. I thought that was,
Kim
I thought that was
Matina
cute.
was there.
Queen Kim Matina, yeah. So that was cute to me. Damn, that was rough though.
Yeah, I was confused a bit by some of their stuff because I thought you got to go just up and down or left to right? Like that is the move. Like you go 1, 2, because if you start doing it all over the place, you're gonna lose track. Like it's so hard to remember if you're just going from place to place. I feel like you just need to go in order.
Oh my god, that's so hard. See, like that kind of a battle match scares me because I'm a pothead. Like I don't have good memory. Like I would much rather like a physical one than like a mental one. Like no. So yeah, that would be. Would you want to do like what would you rather, a physical? Or
I'd rather flip over pictures for sure.
Would you?
Oh yeah, flip over pictures all day.
Oh my god, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, it felt almost like a crapshoot.
Yeah.
One. So I don't know. Yeah, wow, that was heartbreaking. Like I'm sorry, I'm still in shock.
It was hard. I don't know. I feel like we've seen Moona play a lot of games, and I feel like nothing's ever really gotten her head. I feel like Spencer kind of he's like one of the only people I have ever seen actually like get to her and like shake her. Like even in that, like when we saw, what was it? Was first episode, second episode? Like when he had her in that room and he kind of gave his pitch as to how he was hurt that she wouldn't work with him. And she was actually like affected by that pitch that he made, that he didn't threaten her. He essentially just said he was hurt. And like, not many people will say, I don't want to speak to you, Moona. Like the legend that she is.
Wow.
But he has like multiple times now essentially said, no, like, I don't trust you. You've gone against me too many times. I'm done with you. And then, had the guts to call her out, battle her, and beat her. Which is kind of, you have to give him some credit there because there's not many people who can do that or would even try to do that. But he did that. As much as we hate to see it, he did it.
I know, but it's like, do you feel like that was his best move? Like game-wise, you do?
I mean, what do you think would have been better for him? Like, who do you think would have been a better idea for him to challenge?
I feel like Shireen would have been a good one just because Shireen's very anti-Spencer.
Yeah.
And to me, it feels like Moona was getting targeted by people. Like even Jacob was targeting Moona. Like Spencer needs everyone around possible that's getting targeted. Like Shireen is playing an incredible game and credit to her, absolutely. But I would think that you would want to. That's why I didn't like Natalie's choice either, and that's why I didn't like Josh's original choice of Katie. And I was happy he switched. Because like I feel like if you're getting targeted, you want to keep around the other people getting targeted. That's what I would do.
Right.
And take a shot at somebody who's totally not. But I don't know if he knew Moona was getting targeted.
I also don't know if he knew that Shireen was so anti him, because it doesn't seem like she is outwardly telling him that. It seems like in confessionals she's saying it a whole lot, but it seems like in the game she's not telling him outright how she feels about him, whereas Moona very clearly was. And I feel like if you know that someone is actively coming after you and actively playing the game against you, that is your shot to remove them. Because
it's better to take out someone who's 100% against you than someone that may.
Right.
Like, what about Rachel? Didn't he know Rachel was very anti him, or no? And he had already been like kind of a dick to them last week, like basically insulting their physical prowess.
Yeah. Well, when you're making that many enemies, I mean, so many people are against him. He could have picked anyone really. Like there was a large amount of people that he could have chosen. But I feel like Moona was the one that was the most apparent to him that they weren't going to work together. He feels like nobody wants him there, essentially, which I kind of understand, is that he feels like his back has been against the wall the entire time and he hasn't had the chance to play which I can imagine being difficult, but there were also other people who had that same experience and they have survived and thrived and managed to, intertwine themselves within the house. Like Josh, for example,
Look at Josh. I was about to say.
He's in a pretty good spot now.
He turned that around for himself, didn't he?
Wow,
very impressive.
Josh Mosh is very happy. The Josh Mosh is out here in abundance. We still believe in him. This was his quietest episode, but
he's funny. He's very funny. And he's always making these confessionals that are like very sexual, which I appreciate because I'm just like a dirty little girl. And how he's like, oh, Spencer knows I fucked him. I'm like, oh. And then what was the one last week? He was he was like, I don't think anyone's ready to beat me up. I was like, oh my God. He's funny. He's funny.
He is good. A lot of good confessionals. A lot of good confessional givers in this cast, which I like. You never know how good someone will be at giving a confessional, like watching them typically. But a lot of these people very good in the confessional room. It was very sad though when Moona, because Moona was doing it and wasn't looking at Spencer's car. So she thought she was doing well, and then she realized like, oh, it's over. And seeing the heartbreak in her face when she realized it was over was very, very sad to see.
Oh my God. I just hope that Moona doesn't feel like she let anyone down, because she didn't. Like, you're an icon. And like everyone who's watching, like if you can support her on Patreon, she has her Patreon so that she can hopefully become a full-time poet, which she's so talented. And we all just need to uplift Moona. She's so incredible. She stands up for marginalized people. She uses her voice so beautifully and eloquently. Like, I just love her. And I'm so grateful that Sequester gave someone like Moona a shot to show her goods. And like, we all know what Moona is capable of, and we know how incredible of a game player she is. Oh my God, this is just, it's a hard pill to swallow, It's hard.
I don't think everybody knows what a legend she is in the Sequester. Like I said this in the pre-show, like when you think Sequester, you think Moona. Like, she is the first person that comes to mind for me in this generation. And regardless, she could have been first boot, she could have won the whole thing. I don't think that necessarily would have changed anyone's opinions to her, because the odds that the mountain she had to climb coming into this game was insurmountable just because of who she was, right? So I feel like she did very well for herself, and she made some of the strongest game moves in 3 episodes than most people will make the entire show. And once again, it's not over.
And that's on period. And I just like, part of me is like, God, I wish I was there, because it's like, now they came for my babies like that. Like, oh my God, it just sucks,
I will say full circle in the initial catchphrase, come at me left, come at you right. The best iteration tonight was maybe the final one. That right was back in the house. And that was good. Chills.
That was a chilling confessional. She completely ate that up. And when she said, say my name is Moona Abdullahi, I was like, yes, queen. Oh my God. And another thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, like, the first episode, they brought, my name was mentioned. They said, Jacob said, thank you so much for voting out Dash, even though it wasn't good for your game. And then 2 episodes later, you're going around dogging her out. I'm like, damn, bro.
That what a fun moment, because that brings all 4 of us together. That moment involved those 2 and us 2, and here we are chatting about it, breaking the 4th wall.
I don't know. So it kind of just hurt. It hurt my heart. I'm not gonna lie. Like, so because that whole situation was so fragile, and we all love each other so much, and we had to like get through all that, and it was a painful situation. And don't bring that into it if you're not gonna really have her back. That's how I felt. So
I agree. And I am curious in the fact that like it was forced, kind of, it was pushed forward because Spencer called her out, but like, and we may never know now, but when Jacob would have actually made that move, right? Like, was that something that was early in the cards, or are we talking late game that he was going to make that move, right? Like,
it seemed like he was ready to take his shot. The fact that in round 3 you're pushing it to Natalie, and I forgot who else. It was like multiple conversations that he's pushing Moona unnecessarily and saying, oh no, she didn't She didn't vote with you, Natalie. She didn't vote with you. Like, damn, that's not even true, love.
I just have the feeling he's doing that with everyone, about everyone. Like, eventually those wires are going to get crossed, and eventually he's going to get caught. And I mean, he may have already, but he's going to get caught in this. I don't know if he can keep this up all the way long term to the end of the game, because people are catching on quickly that he has deals and is promising different things to every single person in the house.
Yeah, and it's like, do we see, like, if Jacob gets the final 2, is he winning these jury votes? Because, like, in order to get there, he is going to have to snake so many people, and he's already, like, snaking everybody. Yeah. Like, oh my God, if he gets there, like, I don't know. I could see this jury being bitter. This seems like a bitter jury to me already. I feel like people are not going to hand it over to somebody if they get stabbed in the back. Yeah, I mean, oof, wow. I mean, right now, like, it's crazy because, like, I was like, oh, Moona has a winner at it, like, you know, and now she's out. Like, Katie was like the star of the premiere. I'm like, oh, and now she's out. Like, ooh, like, Billy, are you going? Because, like, I need you here.
Well, I mean, at this rate, everybody's just gonna snake each other, stab everybody in the back, and then Brendan's just gonna be the last man standing there with his music and his sound effects.
Oh, we haven't talked about Brendan. Brendan he's hilarious. Yeah. I love Brendan, and I love his edit.
He's definitely the comedic relief of the season, which I feel like is much needed right now. And he's another one. I mean, he's playing definitely no blood on his hands, seems to be well liked by everyone, hasn't had to do a ton, but he hasn't had to do a ton. Like, he's really been able to just stand back and watch it all happen and just kind of avoid any kind of fire whatsoever, because I don't think his name has been mentioned by anyone at any point.
Yeah, good point.
Episodes.
He's playing a really good game. I feel like he's good with everybody.
Yeah.
Wow. I see Brendan going really far.
Yeah.
Like, I really do. I think Billy, him, and Jacob, like, I see Endgame. That'd be my prediction. Yeah, at this point, maybe Rachel is the 4th one in Final 4. Just, like, throw it out there. If I'm right, that'd be cracked. I am a witch.
Yeah.
So
I think those are all solid. I mean, Brent is fighting for his life in every single episode. Like, he is on
oh my God
at all points.
I'm living for Brent. I gotta give it to him.
I'm rooting for him. So I'm rooting for him more and more every episode, because he's become such an underdog and he's under such fire at all times. Like, nobody, everybody has such vendetta. Rachel, she can't stand him. Everything, the only thing she says, the only time she's ever shown is just her demolishing this poor man.
Oh my God, she can't stand Mr. One Lucky Gay. Like, oh my God, it's so funny. And my friends, they love him too. They're like, oh, this bitch is chaotic. He is cracked. I'm like, yes, he is. He came to serve you the messy television.
He is. This is exactly what I wanted Brent to take this so seriously, and he's taking it even more seriously than I was hoping. Like, this is life or death to him. This is everything to him. You can very clearly tell that he will do whatever he has to win this game.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like, Brent would be somebody that I would want to work with. Like, I feel like Brent is a big target. He's loud. He's abrasive. He's in your face. Like, that's great. He would be a good shield for me.
Well, you know, I mean, it's always better when you can predict what someone's going to do. And I feel like with Brent, you can predict what he's going to do easier than what anyone else is going to do. I did find it funny, like, at the beginning when they were waiting to see who came back, Katie or Natalie, that his reasoning that he didn't want Katie to come back in was that he no longer had to stick to the deal that he made, that nobody was following anyway. Like, no one, you came up with that. She had no intention of ever following that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like, I got it up until even if you didn't vote for me, I'm gonna pull you in. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. No. Did not make much sense.
Marriage of necessity. Somebody who voted me. Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, Brent. So, but here's the thing though, is Brent, I mean, it's still early. Somebody's coming back. We got time, but give it a few more episodes. Are we looking at Brent as a final 2 GOAT? do people start looking at that and saying he's not going to get any votes? The way he's played has been too chaotic. People dislike the way he's played the game. He's someone now that I want to take to the end with me because I can beat him in a jury vote.
Really? Oh, wow. See, okay. I see what you're saying because he can come off abrasive and like clearly Rachel hates him. But like we've been on the jury before. like for me, like as a juror, like I live for chaotic gameplay that you're fighting. Like I want to see the passion. Like that is like my number one thing is like you need to give me a passion and show that you want this and you're hungry for it. And Brent is hungry for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and dessert too. Like this bitch is hungry, hungrier than a bottom on Grinder at 3 a.m, girl. Like, this bitch is hungry, and so I like that. So do I think he'll be the GOAT? No, I think that Spencer will be the GOAT because Spencer is over here going around puffing his damn chest, and it's not the tea. People don't want to vote for that in the end. So I think if Spencer makes Final Four, I think he'll get dragged. But if he doesn't get dragged, I think he'll get second.
Yeah, I could see that too. I mean, who really challenges Spencer? Like after Spencer comes back from this and takes out Moona, which is kind of like the highest thing you can do in this game, I feel like, is take out Moona, right? So he's going to come back in, and Moona's going to be gone. Do you then just like give him a pass? Do you then just say, okay, well now like we can't touch him? Who's gonna like you have to vote for him, right? You're not gonna challenge him. Like who's gonna challenge him? I can't see many people.
Shireen,
I
love that about her. Shireen, like, she's brutally honest in her confessionals. She said, I will take his ass. And I trust it. Yeah. Like, I feel like she has the cojones to do it. I think she would.
There's not many who would. I could see her being the one to do it. And, you know.
And if Rachel gets out, I wouldn't put it past Rachel. I think Rachel might do it too.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think Rachel would challenge if she got voted out?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, probably Brent. I feel like that showed
probably Brent
at some point.
But, oh my God.
That's something. That's the lead or something. One of them.
Their rivalry. Yeah. It's so iconic. I love their rivalry.
Yeah. There's so many unanswered questions. I'm very excited to see.
I know
where it all goes. But another great episode. I mean, it's top-notch entertainment. I used to hate Sundays because Sundays now it's something to look forward to on Sunday nights.
I'm truly so impressed. Like just from season to season to season, the level of production in this show is just astronomical. So you know, like as to quote Snarky Marky, like, oh my God, you know, I'm very impressed. The editing is amazing. The music is amazing. The lighting. Like, it's just bomb. Like, this is the best reality show, like, in the game. Like, period. Like, Big Brother and Survivor, I love them, but they could never. This cast is so diverse, so incredible. Even though most of them are not very rootable at this very moment for me, because I'm bitter.
They broke your heart.
They literally chopped my heart into little pieces and fed it to my dog Clementine. Like, this is satanic.
Right before the holidays, too? This isn't what we want. This isn't what we want.
Not this.
Not this.
Wow. Yeah, not this at all. But I'm so impressed. Like, it's so entertaining. It's making me feel things each week. You know, maybe the last 2 weeks were complete heartbreak, but I'm still feeling. And, you know, you want a show to make you feel things.
Absolutely. And I'm sure there will be elation to come. I'm sure there are many good things. And so, you know what I've been elated by, Dash Katz?
What?
Doing this show with you. This was
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. It was so therapeutic to talk about with you.
Really, this was just, you know, I didn't even record this. This was just a way to chat, really.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to get your feelings on all of this. So
I'm
glad we got it out there in the world. And I'm sure we'll have a lot more feelings come next week. Which will be
all the feelings. They're doing it to us, and apparently this season just gets crazier and crazier. So
yeah, I believe it, and it's more and more people are jumping on board. It seems to watch all the time. So it's definitely the hype train just continues, and Sequester is going to get exactly where it needs to be. So
Yes, yes, we had Abby Maria live tweeting it last week. She's a personal legend of mine, so yeah, I'm excited to see where the show goes. I believe in the concept and the team so much. Oh my god, I'm like Netflix. I'm like the Judge Judy meme. Like,
it's just a matter of
pick
time.
it up.
Just a matter. There's 8,000 streaming services these days. Come on.
Yeah, one of you. Like, come on, this show is incredible, and the potential it has to just be the one. Like, it already is the one.
Yeah.
But on
we know it's the
elevated.
one. We just got to make sure everybody else knows it's the one.
Very much that. Very much that.
All right. Well, on that note, that will take us out. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We will be back next week for coverage of episode 4. And until then, everyone, we will see you out there. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for watching.